morning, fellow educators. Welcome back to SHC News, your most trustworthy news network. I'm your host, Veronica.
And I'm Cameron. Breaking news in the education world as computational thinking has become a big part of problem solving in the classroom.
That's right, Cameron. Computational thinking is a problem-solving process that may include taking steps to solve problems with a computer or similar tool, looking at and working with data logically, creating models or simulations with data, solving problems automatically through a series of steps, and many other logically ordered steps of things.
This process of computational thinking can help students by increasing their confidence in their ability to solve problems, making them less likely to give up when faced with difficult tasks, increasing their tolerance, increasing their ability to solve problems all around, and increasing their ability to communicate.
I agree, especially in today's rapidly changing and technology-driven world. Today's students will need a whole new set of skills to solve tomorrow's problems. As teachers, we have a whole new role in our students' growth in today's world. Teaching used to be focused on learning and retaining information, but now we are changing how we teach students so students can take what they've learned and apply it in school, work, and beyond.
So wait, Veronica, when should we begin to introduce computational thinking in the classroom?
We should begin to introduce computational thinking in today's classroom immediately, as it is an approach to teaching critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
We must also remember it is particularly useful for the computer age. This is because it not only teaches critical thinking, but also focuses on helping students develop and employ strategies for understanding and solving problems in ways that leverage the power of technological methods to develop and test solutions.
That is true. More than ever, we live in a world that is flooded with computer technology. Not only are there smartphones and personal computers, but there are many everyday objects that are traditionally non-digital, which are being designed to operate via computer program. Some of these objects include shoes, watches, cars, streetlights, and even cereal boxes.
Wow, I did not even realize that so many objects have become computer operated. That makes sense why computer programming has become an increasingly relevant skill. No wonder countries like England, Finland, South Korea, and Australia require that children learn computing or computational thinking.
Does the United States require it?
No, the United States has not yet officially adopted such measures, but appears to be moving in that direction. However, several U.S. states and districts do have requirements similar to those in other countries.
Many believe that today's students need computational thinking to better solve the problems of the 21st century. Computational thinking may be considered a precursor to learning actual coding or computer programming skills.
That makes sense. A lot of skills, attitudes, and approaches that make up computational thinking are fundamental, universal, transferable, and particularly appropriate and useful for the computer age.
Exactly. A future programmer most certainly needs computational thinking, but it's not necessarily true that everyone who needs computational thinking needs to go to work in the coding. But wait, what are these skills, attitudes, and approaches that you mentioned that make up computational thinking?
The skills that make up computational thinking are decomposition, which means breaking down data, processes, or problems into smaller, manageable parts. Pattern recognition, which means observing patterns, trends, and regularities in data. Abstraction, which means making a problem more understandable by reducing unnecessary detail. Algorithm design, which means developing the step-by-step instructions for solving this and similar problems. Evaluation, which means ensuring that your solution is a good one.
Wow, those are some great skills, but what about the attitudes?
When it comes to computational thinking, you must be confident, meaning you believe in one's own ability to solve problems. You must be a good communicator, meaning you are willing and able to communicate effectively with others, and you must be flexible, meaning you are able to deal with change and open-ended problems.
What about the approaches?
The approaches for computational thinking are tinkering, meaning experimenting and play, creating, meaning designing and making, debugging, meaning finding and fixing errors, persevering, meaning to keep going, collaborating, meaning to work together.
It seems like computational thinking is cross-disciplinary, so it makes sense that we should start to teach it as young as preschool or elementary school, where all subjects are naturally blended together for the students within the same environment.
We must also take note at the elementary level that there are 3 different aspects of computational thinking. They are data collection, data analysis, and data representation.
In order to get a better understanding of computational thinking in the elementary school, let's go over to Kylie, who is currently at Spring Hill Elementary School, to talk to us about it.
Thank you, Cameron and Veronica. Studies have shown that children as young as preschool age have been able to successfully learn basic computational thinking concepts, and that learning this can be an engaging and rewarding experience for the students. We must remember that CT doesn't always require a computer. In pre-K to second grade, this can be conducting and manipulating experiments and putting that info into charts and graphics. So for example, we have our classes plant seed in a garden and keep track of their growth. They research and decide which factors will be best to grow them in, which products will make them grow the most, and several other different things. The whole school helps take care of the garden based off of what the class that initially creates the project decides. In 3rd through 5th grade, this can be looking at samples of writing for strategies, categorizing strong and weak writing, and using a rubric to chart writing. Now back to Cameron and Veronica in the studio.
Wow, I did not even realize computational thinking was used so much in elementary school.
It's also used in secondary.
Really?
Yes, some secondary educators may understandably feel that unless they are planning to get an endorsement in information technology education, computational thinking has little to do with them. However, computational thinking concepts in English, history, math, science, second languages, and other core and elective subjects is actually a great way to support problem solving across all disciplines.
So, using computational thinking across multiple subject areas can help students make connections and have a toolkit to draw from?
Yeah, it does. Let's go back to Kylie, who is now at Spring Hill High School, to explain this further.
Thank you, Cameron and Veronica. In middle school, computational thinking focuses the attention on problem decomposition, while in high school, we focus more on the concept of abstraction. Most of the time, with secondary education, we see computational thinking used in many different ways depending on the subject. Examples of computational thinking can range from something as complex as students analyzing how algorithms affect social media feeds in a computer engineering elective class to do something as simple as pattern recognition with the students reviewing data trends in wars with their social studies class. Although many teachers in middle and high school are hesitant to use computational thinking, it is a great way to help students make connections between their classes and beyond into the real world. It also gives students the chance to have a toolkit to draw from that crosses traditional subject borders. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Wow, that's so cool. That is very helpful for learning more about computational thinking.
It is. I don't think I would understand it as well if we did not see how it was used in the classroom.
To end out our show today, we want to shed some light on how computational thinking is used in our everyday lives.
We often use computational thinking without even realizing it, because computational thinking is, in many ways, just human thinking. You use computational thinking every day in one way or another.
In other words, computational thinking is reformulating a seemingly difficult problem into one we know how to solve. Some examples of computational thinking we do every day are when you get ready for school in the morning and you get all your stuff together for the day. You're using computational thinking.
That's right. When you lose something and then you backtrack and begin retracing your steps, you are using computational thinking. Or when you were in the grocery store and asked yourself, what line do I stand in? You are doing performance modeling, which is computational thinking.
Well, that's it for us with computational thinking.
Now over to April Sanders for an important sports update.